Hi, I'm Scott. Today on Synth Stuff, we're going to use the Hydrasynth to learn how to make this famous sound. Coming up. Now, I originally was going to do this on the Summit and on the Hydrasynth, and the reason for that is because this song, Daft Punk by Daft Punk, that seminal sound, that lead sound that you just heard me play, was done on a Korg MS-20. And the reason why it has that unique sound is because the MS-20 has two filters, and you can create a high pass and a low pass filter and adjust the both of them. The Hydrasynth also has two filters, one of which can model the MS-20. The Summit does not. It has one filter, however, you can set it up with a dual filter so that it kind of has two filters, and you can change the resonance and things of both together and the gap between them. You can get pretty close. It's not quite there. It might need a little more resonance. But this is definitely closer. Definitely with the two filters that you can adjust independently on the Hydrasynth, the sound is much closer than what you can do on the Summit. So I kind of just abandoned my attempt at the Summit. We're going to focus today on the Hydrasynth. And this is actually a fairly simple sound to create, so let me show you how you do it. All right, let's do this again for the second time, only this time I've actually hit record on the audio recorder, so we'll actually be able to hear what I'm doing. And I'm sure the second time around this video is going to be much better, right? So here's the sound I did. You'll notice I put a little bit of a velocity sensitivity in there, so if you play it harder, it opens the filter wider. That lets you have a little bit more expression when you play it. All right, so you can hear that. Now that is my preset that I will put a link to in the description below in case you want to download it. But for now, we're going to wipe that and initialize the patch. So now we have a simple sawtooth wave. All right, so what we're going to do, we're actually going to use two oscillators in this, oscillator 1 and 2. Both of them are just going to be simple sawtooth. We don't need to change any of that. However, we are going to change oscillator 2. Well, let's bring up both in the mixer first. So bring up the mixer here. Oscillator 1 is up. We'll also bring oscillator 2 up. If we go back to oscillator 2, now we want to bring oscillator 2 down 5 semitones. That is where we get those notes that we're playing, so you can hear that now. So we know we're on the right track there. Next, we want to set up some envelopes. Envelope 2 is the amplitude envelope. It's linked by default to drive our amplifier. So let's set up, let's see, an attack. We'll put in about 50 milliseconds, thereabouts. Close enough, 64. Decay we want to put in, the decay is what's going to give us the time that's going meow. So that we want to write around 2 seconds for that. Sustain 0 because we want it to taper off, and let's just put a release in there for good measure so we don't get any clicks or pops. Let's do the same for envelope 1. We'll put the same values in. So attack of roughly that, and about 2 seconds of decay, sustain 0, and then around 700 or so for release, just for good measure. Okay, so we've got these envelopes set up now. This one is set up for the amplifier, and we should be able to hear that. So we can hear how that's tapering off as we play it, which is what we want. Oh, one other thing we want to do, voicing. We want to have this not polyphonic, we want it mono, and we do want some glide in there. So let's put glide on and glide time of glide legato on. Let's bump up the glide time. There, that's what we want to hear for the voicing. Next, we need to edit the filters. Now we have two filters. We want to make sure they are in series. The routing is series, so that means the sound's going to come from the mixer through filter 1, then through filter 2, then to the amplifier. So we'll start with filter 1, and we're going to change that to the MS-20, which is the MS-20 high pass. We will bring up the envelope amount. Let's bring that up to, I guess, about 25 or thereabouts. That means that envelope 1 is going to affect our filter 1 parameters, which is what we set to match envelope 2. So now we can start playing with the cutoff. Right now we have not much of anything. And we want maybe about 25 there. That sounds about good. Now we need lots of resonance. So about 85 resonance sounds good. And let's bring up that velocity so that when we play the key harder, it opens farther. Sounds good. All right, that's our filter 1. Let's go into filter 2. We have low pass, band pass, high pass. We want a low pass, no filter high pass is what we're going to use. And for cutoff in there, let's bring that up a bit. Oh, actually, first we have to bring up the velocity, or the envelope amount, or else we're not going to hear it. So let's bring that up around, right around 40, sounds good. And then we're going to bring the cutoff up. Okay, and then we also need resonance here. That's a little too much cutoff, I think. All right, I think that sounds good. Now, the last thing we want to do is just add a little bit of drive. Now, we could do that in the filters. If we wanted to, we go to filter 1 and we could add some drive, but I want to add drive to both, and filter 2 doesn't have that capability. So instead, we're going to add a pre-effects in here, and the effects we're going to add is distortion, and there's some distortion. Let's bring that up. Bring the output just a little bit more. There we go. It's sounding good. And we'll bring that output just a little bit higher, and that's about a 70% wet dry. And let's see what that sounds like. All right, that's it for this video. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you learned something new. And if you do like this sound, I will put a copy of it. I'll take the copy that I created here and I will link it in the description below so you can download it and put it into your Hydrasynth and maybe play with it and change it and make it better. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please leave them in the description section below. I read all those comments. I really appreciate when you guys leave them. And of course, subscribe and like. It really helps me out when you do that. When you subscribe and click like on the video, it tells YouTube that, hey, the content I'm creating is really applicable to people who like synthesizers, and it shows it to more of you, which is great for me, and it's great for you because that means I get to make more videos for you guys. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.